looks like I'm taking a break. Stay tuned for Airgun Detectives.
Welcome to another episode of Airgun Detectives. I'm your host, JC, and today we're going to take the mystery out of the Umarex Zelos. But before we get started, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down there in the corner. It doesn't cost you anything, it's absolutely free. Also, if you have the opportunity, check out my website, www.airgundetectives.com. On that site, I've got my Generation 2 bipods. I've got t-shirts, I got hats. You Gammo shooters, you guys that have the Gammo brake barrels that have the SAT or CAT triggers. I sell a very inexpensive trigger kit that will turn that trigger into a match style trigger. It really will. Anyways, but check that out and you have the opportunity. Also, don't forget to check the website for my inventory, because I put a lot of my personal inventory up there. That way I can recycle it and come up with something new to show you guys. So this is definitely something new. This is the Umarex Zelos. This is a Bullpup PCP rifle, and for those you don't know what a bullpup is, I'll explain that to you in just one second. But Zelos, by the way, kind of several definitions of it, but it basically means personify dedication. So in other words, we're going to see if this personifies a dedication to airgunning, that's for sure. But anyway, this is a bullpup, and again with a bullpup, what that means is your barrel goes all the way from the front here to the back. The chamber is actually behind your shooting position, which is kind of unusual. And then it's just got an extension as far as the trigger goes and the cocking arm that's extended. So the actual barrel on this is 26 inches long. But anyway, what do we have here? This again is a PCP rifle. It comes in two calibers. It comes in 22 and 25. This is a 22 caliber. We're going to test the 22 caliber. This has a 250 cc tank that you fill to approximately 3,600 psi. 3,600 psi. It's actually 3,625, but we'll just round it to 3,600 psi. This also has a fully adjustable regulator. You can set that regulator for 2,000 psi, 1,500 psi, or 1,000 psi. So what you got here, you have a gauge here that shows what the tank pressure is, and then back here, you have, this shows your actual regulated pressure. And we're going to be testing this today at the max at the 2,000 psi. But at the very end of this video, stick around. I'll explain to you guys how you adjust a regulator on this. Anyway, the overall length of this gun is 36 inches. And again, I said it had a 26 inch barrel. And the cool thing about this does have a 1/2 by 20 thread on it. So if you decide, it's pretty quiet because it already has baffles in it, and it's pretty backyard friendly. But if you really wanted it quiet, you could go one of Buck Rail's suppressors on here, and it just threads right on here just like this. And then you'd make it pretty much silent. You want to shoot some late night shooting in your backyard, you definitely could do it. But that's how you could set that up, just like that. The gun itself weighs 6 pounds. It does not come with a scope or the bipods. I set those up just for demonstration purposes and to be able to demonstrate this when we shoot it. So, but anyway, it's all metal. So this is all an alloy, all of it. It's the entire gun is. You got a nice rubber textured grip. I think one of the few things that are synthetic is the cheek rest here, right here. The gun comes with two 20-round magazines. You can see this, two 20-round magazines right here. So it's pretty cool, 20 rounds, gotta like it. Let's see, they say it'll shoot up to about 1,100 feet per second with a lighter lead pellet. This is side lever cocking. Let me show you this real quick. Turn this around. There you go. It's side lever cocking right here. And the gun, yes, can be decocked. It has a fully adjustable 2-stage trigger here. Even the trigger shoe can be adjusted up, down, right to left, however you want it. But there's also a linkage adjustment and then a sear adjustment. And at the end, I'll explain to you how you do the adjustments on that. But it does, again, it comes equipped with a Picatinny rail on top for your scope, and then something down here for your bipods, if that's what you choose to do. But anyway, it's a pretty neat gun, pretty compact, and Oh, and again, just so you guys know, the guys aren't familiar, see, so your magazine actually goes in the back here in the gun. So this is where the pellet goes in, and the air is pushed in from behind here. So that's why they call it a bullpup, because it's compact, but yet it still has a full-length barrel on it. So pretty cool. But once again, it looks great. It really does look great. It sounds great, but how well does it perform? Let's go out and test it, then we'll come back and talk about it. Let's test out the Zelos here, get some accuracy and some foot-pounds of energy for you. So I tried a few pellets. This thing is not very pellet picky. It actually shoots most of them actually really, really well. But we narrowed it down as far as the best accuracy was the JTS Dead Centers 18.1 grain pellet, and guess what? Almost a virtual tie with the H&N Barracuda's 18 grain. So either of those work really well in them. But I'm going to show you how it does with the 18 grain pellet, and then I'm going to come back with another pellet. You guys are probably curious about how well it does. So anyway, with that, let's see how we do over the crony here. All right, shot number 1. That's 965. Shot number 2. 960. Shot number 3. 962. Shot number 4. 960 again. And let's do one more. 965. Very low standard deviation. And again, I'll get into this, but as you guys know, it's regulated. It's set at 2000 psi, and you can set it in, that's the highest you can set it, is 2000 on the regulation. You can go to 1500, and you can go down to 1000. We're leaving it at 2000 through all our testing because this is the max you're going to get out of it. Okay, so one other pellet. You guys are usually curious at how well it does with slugs. So it actually shot really well with these H&N slugs, hollow points. We averaged 923 feet per second, and these are 21 grain, and just about 40 foot-pounds of energy. So not bad at all. So 923 feet per second, about 40 foot-pounds of energy. So this is quite the performer. It really is. So let's go on to the next segment. All right, let's test out our Zelos for some accuracy. What we're going to do today, something a little different. I'm going to start out, we're going to shoot the Barracuda 18s. We're going to shoot 5 shots. We'll see how well they group. And then I'm going to move on, and I'm going to do one more target with the slugs, because a lot of you guys want to know how these rifles perform with slugs. Well, we got the H&N slugs. These are 21 grain slugs, so we're going to do a second target with those. I got a second magazine loaded with those, and our initial one here. We're going to be shooting at our 6-inch HD targets here, the 6-inch HD targets. Of course, I'm going to be aiming for the red. That's the number one thing I want to do here, is hit the red. So we'll see what happens. All right, so we're going to do 5 shots. Again, check out our distance real quick. We're usual 40+ yards. This is our PCP distance. Go ahead and check that out. And again, we're going to aim dead center. They all don't go in the red. That's okay. But we're just going to go for grouping. But with this one, I'm going to try to get them all in the red. We'll see. All right, 5 shots. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoa, that's going to be tough to beat. That is really going to be tough to beat. All right, so now we're going to go to our 21 grain slugs. Got a new target there. It's in there, we're all set. Okay, now 5 shots with the slugs, and let's see how well we can make these group. Same thing, going to aim right there in the red. I'm liking this so far. 2 more. And 1 more. Wow. Man, that is two really good groups, if I do have to say so myself. So it really, as you see, it likes the slugs and it likes those 18 grain barracudas both. I mean, those targets, that's something else. Yes, and we did get in the red on top of everything else, which is really great. All right, so let's move on to the next segment. All right, let's test the trigger pull weight on our Zelos. Okay, these are fully adjustable triggers. You can adjust them for length of pull. In addition, there's a sear adjustment on there, and you can also adjust the trigger shoe itself. So you can make it accommodate your finger, whether it's fat, skinny. You can put it whatever position you want. All right, we got our Lyman trigger gauge here. I did tune this trigger, let me take that back. I didn't tune the trigger, I adjusted the trigger right out of the box. So you can do the same thing. This is adjusted right out of the box. And I'll cover a little bit at the end, just to give you guys some insight how you adjust this. Anyway, let's reset this. £1 pound, 8.3 ounces. 1 pound, 8.3 ounces. Yeah, I got it set just right. Really does. It's a good combination. This would probably be a good combo for target shooting as well as hunting. But again, completely adjustable, and I'll cover a little bit of that at the end. All right, let's go on to the next segment. All right, my favorite portion, any review, is the plinking, because we got to knock stuff down, which I like. We're going to go ahead and use these JTS dead center, the 18.1 grains. I told you these and the H&N were really close. In fact, let me show you this target real quick off camera that I shot with these JTS at 40 yards. Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. So let's use these for our plinking. And go ahead and check it out. We're our usual little over 40 yards. Check it out. We've got several of our little red eggs there, a little chicken. We've got a pellet can on its edge, and we have a shotgun shell laying down on its side. So let's see how well we do. Let's try to knock them all down. We got plenty of rounds here. All right. Let's start with the shotgun shell. Dismissed. This thing is just awesome. All right, pellet can on its edge. All right, the chicken. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Looks like the chicken. Who was the first to go? All right, first egg. God, this thing hits hard. Second egg. Oh yeah. And our last egg. Yeah, this definitely hits with some authority. God, and the trigger is so nice on this thing. This thing's so dialed in. But we'll talk a little bit more about this right here. Let's wrap this up and move on to the conclusion. All right, let's wrap this up with our conclusion. I have one word to say here. Awesome. This thing, whoa, did it perform. This was definitely a performer. I was really trying to come up with some negatives on this, and I just can't. Even the pricing is somewhat fair. This is around $600. You can get a little less, but right around that high fives, low $600 mark. And you get a lot of rifle for that. So let's just jump into the positives. Right off, I love the design. It just, oh my God, it shoulders really nice. It's really comfortable. And I'm a left-hander, and you guys saw me shooting it. It's really comfortable for a left-hander. It really is. Even the way these magazines set back here, they don't protrude much at all once they're in the position there. It's really nice. Another thing I really like about this is this trigger, the whole setup on this thing. It's fully adjustable. In fact, how you adjust that trigger, I was going to tell you guys. First of all, there's 2 screws here. You're going to be a total of 14 screws. There's 2 Allen screws. You unscrew this part, it comes off. When that comes off, there's going to be 6 screws on this side. There's some under here, but there's 6 screws on this side, and there's 6 screws on the opposite side. So this will come off, and then your butt plate, that entire piece will come off. And once that happens, look at these photos, you're going to see the linkage exposed. And what you do with that linkage is you loosen up the nut and then you just adjust the linkage, and that'll be your length of pull. That'll tighten that up. So it depends how much slack you want in your trigger. And then there's also a sear adjustment. That's simple. You just adjust that with a little Allen. The farther in, the more sensitive the trigger is going to be, and it's going to release that sear. Suggestion though, when you're adjusting the trigger on this, make sure you have air in it, because that air puts a little more pressure against the valve. So that'll be an actual trigger adjustment. If you do it when the tank's empty, there's going to be no resistance. It's not going to be a true adjustment. The trigger actually operates a little bit harder, so just keep that in mind. But very, very simple. All that's in the instruction manual. They actually show some pictures, but that's in the instruction manual, so you'll know how to do that. What else did I like about this? Oh my goodness. The accuracy on this was just phenomenal. You saw that, and I showed you, well, basically 3 different targets that I shot from 40 yards, and it was incredible. And you guys saw our plinking. We were shooting the smallest targets, and there was just nothing to it. The accuracy is just tremendous on this. And then you combine that with this trigger, pretty awesome, pretty awesome. Again, this regulator can be adjusted, and the way that you would do that is you would have to degas it. There's a degassing valve on this side right here. You'd make sure all the air is out of it. Got to do that first. And then you're going to unscrew and take the lower tube off here. That's your fill tube. And then what you're going to expose is this piece right here. I don't know if you guys can see that right here, but right here. And that's simply, you're going to loosen that up and then take a small screwdriver and you're going to adjust it. And all the specifics are in the manual on it, but you have 3 adjustments. You can adjust it for 1,000 PSI, so that means you're going to get a lot less power, but you're going to get more shots. You can set it up at 1,500, so you're going to get a balance between. So obviously a little bit more power, but still a little less shots. Or you go to 2,000 PSI, which we're at now, and you're going to get the maximum performance. You're going to get less shots, but you're going to get the most power out of it, which is good. And speaking of which, at the 2,000 PSI, I charted this. So check out the chart here. I wanted to show you guys. So this is with the regulator adjusted at 2,000 PSI. So we're starting at roughly 3,600 PSI, and we get 32 regulated shots. So that's all these shots that are on the regulator, and then it falls off the regulator because the pressure drops below the 2,000 PSI of where we're at. We were using our 18 grain H&Ns just to test this out as far as how many shots we got in the shot count. But what we averaged was 965 feet per second, and we got 37 foot-pounds of energy, which is pretty awesome. That really is. And then there was about 10 shots after that, but they kind of fell off the table. But so you know you're going to get at least that 30 shots for sure that are on the regulator. And that's at 2,000 PSI. If you adjust it down to 1,500, your velocity is going to come down, but you're going to get more shots. So just keep that in mind. Other great thing on this, I like the 1/2x20. Even though, honest to God, this rifle is so quiet. It really is. I would consider it backyard friendly right out of the box. But if you want this thing absolutely silent, you get one of Terry's at Buckrell's suppressors on here. And when you put this suppressor on there, oh my goodness, it is so quiet. I just got to thread the thing on here. It is so quiet. I mean, really quiet. But like I said, it's backyard friendly just the way it is. So, but that's kind of a nice touch that Umarex put that on there, the 1/2x20 thread. So that's awesome. So again, this whole gun is metal. The entire gun is metal with the exception of the cheek rest and the rubberized butt plate and cover here. That's it. But the rest of it is metal. And I like the fact that you've got your 2 gauges here that you can clearly see what your tank pressure is and what your regulated pressure is. So they kind of thought of it all. I really like this rifle a lot. And I love the bullpup design because it really does make it compact. Anyway, how would I rate this gun? Well, I got to tell you, it's a fantastic bullpup, and it clearly earns 5 stars. This is right around that high 5s, low $600 mark. And, you know, there's a few things out there, but this, for that price range, seems to be leading the pack, in my opinion. It was so much fun to shoot. I can't get over it. It really was. And I do love the touch of the 20-round magazines because that's pretty awesome. So you're not worried about reloading 10-round magazines or what have you. This thing comes with 20-round magazines. So it's good to go. Oh, if I didn't cover this, this has a Foster fitting right here on the front. That's how you fill it. Nothing to it. Piece of cake. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Airgun Detectives. Don't forget, this is where we take the mystery out of the airgun. So until next time, I hope you and your family are doing well and you're getting plenty of shooting in. So take care, and God bless.